Teamwork. So, like I said, we don't worry so much about what type of dementia they have, but we want to look at what's going on with them and how we can support them the best way possible. So, one thing that I think it's really important to know is how dementia affects all of the senses and how they take in information. So the 5 senses are, what are hearing, smelling, tasting, touch, vision. So 5 senses. And as caregivers, what are we prone to do?
Touching. Yeah.
Right. And so we, rather than using vision, which is their first way they take in information, the most important, we go straight to touching.
Right.
And so I want to do a little activity to kind of demonstrate that. So let's have you 2 pair up, and Jane, you can come and be my partner. And so one person stand up, and the other person stay sitting, and you can decide who's who. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm gonna have you sit because I'm gonna stand, and so you 2 come here. Oh, come over here. I'm gonna whisper something to you. So you guys close your eyes.
Close.
So you guys keep your eyes closed, and we're gonna come and do something. All right, go ahead.
Touching my hair.
Okay, all right, so go ahead and open your eyes. They were both very nice about it. They were a little nicer than I was, which is good. So what did you guys that were sitting, what did you feel?
A touch.
Okay. And how did it make you feel?
I felt
a little defensive.
Yeah.
Because you're like, they're touching my hair.
And I felt a lot.
Why are they touching my hair?
You know.
What are they about to do?
So yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I enjoy touching my hair.
You like it? You were falling asleep. So okay. So you felt a little defensive by that. So I think the other thing is you guys knew something was coming. I mean, you knew we were talking and you knew something was coming. But for somebody that maybe didn't know something's coming, how would they feel?
Invaded.
Yeah, they feel somebody's invading on them. We know that this is going to end and you're going to open your eyes. And so thinking about, I mean, that was a very easy thing. Some of the things that we do are very invasive and personal. And so thinking about if they don't know what's coming, how they might take that. So if you're doing personal care and you haven't gained that connection with them, what might they think is happening? You are invading their privacy.
Something's going to
You're
happen.
touching them.
They may be scared.
Defensive.
Scared.
They're going to be on the attack.
Yeah, and they'll be defensive.
Right, and so that you might end up
Getting hit.
getting hit,
Bit.
getting bit,
You know.
scratched. Yeah, I mean, and you can understand where they're coming from with that. Okay, so we're going to learn then about the positive approach, which is how you gain that connection, and then hand under hand, which is going to be really useful in providing some of those care. So they feel like they're doing it with you instead of you doing it to them. So, okay, go ahead and grab a seat.
All right, so we talked a little bit about the senses and how vision was the most important sense. So when you are like a 20-year-old, we were all 20 once, and when we were that age, we could see our field of vision was like this. So by the time you're 40, it's more like this, and by the time you're 70, it's more like this. And so already, you know, thinking about what you can see, for a normal person that doesn't have dementia, they're already pretty, you know, thinking about driving. They're a little bit slower drivers by that point a lot of times because they need more time to process, because they don't have all of this back here for their field of vision to catch things, you know, if somebody's coming up on the side or whatever. So by this time someone has early dementia, their field of vision is like goggles. So put your goggles up. So this is what they can see. So if somebody's coming from the side here,
They won't see.
they won't see them. By the time they are middle dementia, it's more like binoculars. And then by end stage dementia,
Shut.
it's usually mono. So they've got one half of a binocular, basically. And so think about how that would affect how all of your interactions. So if you're having a conversation during lunch with somebody with middle stage dementia and they're trying to focus on you and talk, they forgot. I mean, they have a short attention span. They're, you know, they only have a couple minutes. But if they're visiting with you, they don't even know this plate's down here. And if you're trying to visit and they're focused on eating, they're not going to talk to you because all they can see
It's
is
the
what
food,
they're focused on. So, you know, thinking about mealtime, it's okay to, you know, I love having a little conversation, you know, whether it's current events or, you know, a devotion or music before, but sometimes depending on their level of dementia, they're doing all they can to focus on eating during meals, and that's okay. So vision is the most important sense for somebody with dementia. Second most is hearing. And then third is touch. So taste and smell are a little bit, we won't talk as much about them. So we want to start when we're interacting with somebody with their strongest sense first, and then move through that progression instead of right away going for the touch and starting off. Some people, you know, especially if they know you well, it'll be okay. But if it's somebody that you're still gaining that trust from, they're going to be a little defensive from the get-go because you're kind of going, not taking the right steps to engage with them. Okay, so positive physical approach is what we're going to use for our interactions. So what we're going to do, I'm going to be my assistant. You can sit right here. So what we're going to do, we want to, you know, another thing that's pretty common for people in care that have been caregivers a long time is you just assume everybody likes to be touched. But you know, I don't really like to be touched that much. So we want to start in public space. So we want to start about 6 feet out, because that, I'm not up in your business. So I'm going to start out here. And what we want to do, if I were really good today, I'd have my name tag over here. What we want to do is we want to say hi. So that's going to bring your eyes to my hand here, because it's moved, you know, you don't have to move it that much, but you're going to say hi. And if your name tag's here and they can still read, that's a visual cue. So if they can still make that happen, then they're like, oh, it's Michaela, I know her, you know. And it's going to bring your eyes to my face, and I'm going to have a smile on it because I'm friendly and I want you to know that I'm friendly. So your eyes are looking here. You see my happy face. You see my name tag. It's all great right here. And then I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to extend it, because most people learned a long time ago how to shake the, their grandpa taught them or their dad taught them or whatever. So they're going to, if you've done a good job so far, you have a good chance they're going to do that. And so that's going to invite me into their space. And now we're in the handshake here. So she's kind of invited me in. Now, what does it feel like if I'm standing over you?
It feels like you're gonna tell me what to do.
I'm going to boss you around, or I'm in charge and you're not in charge. So if you're sitting, I'm going to get down on your level. So I'm going to come to the side. The other thing is, if I'm like this and you have middle stage dementia and you've got your binoculars on, what do you see?
A big person.
I just see
Just-
the stomach.
Right, you just see me.
Right.
And that can be a little intimidating. So if I come in and I come to the side and come down, then it's not as intimidating. It's not like I'm going to come, you can see that there's a way out. I'm not trying to attack you. And I'm going to come down to your level. So now I've moved in, but not before I gained
Right.
your invitation to move in. And we're here in this nice, friendly stance, and you were the one that extended your hand to me.
Right.
So how does that feel?
It feels good.
Yeah, it does.
Inviting.
Good. So now we're in this handshake here. All right, you can turn that off.
Are you sure?
Huh?
Turn it off?
Yeah.